And we are back at Atlantic City, and now it's Don Johnson and Quincy Taylor. 8 rounds for, they are junior middleweights. Quincy Taylor, of course, in what has to be considered for him a comeback fight. He lost his last to Terry Norris, but when he's good, he's very good.
Quincy Taylor rolled through his first 10 opponents with ease, beating 9 by knockout. Only Mario Davis lasted the distance, and he took a pounding in losing a 6-round decision. This 25-year-old was rolling along until Terry Norris offered the opposition to Sugar Ray's protege. The early rounds were close, but Norris turned things around here in the 4th. And then it was Norris outsmarting Taylor in a fight that Quincy admits he let slip away because he underestimated Terry Norris. Now, 6 months later, Quincy returns to try and start a new winning streak.
So there's a look at Quincy Taylor. Don Johnson, 12 up, 11 down, only 4 knockouts. And you have to wonder, of course, the caliber of opponent that Quincy Taylor has chosen or has had chosen for him in his comeback fight. Let's meet these two now with Michael Buffer.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, this bout is scheduled for 8 rounds, and it's in the junior middleweight division. The referee is Joe O'Neill. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner. He's wearing the blue trunks with white trim and weighs 154.5 pounds from Brooklyn, New York. As a professional, he's 12-11-2, 4 KOs to his credit. Let's hear it for Don Johnson. And his opponent fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the white trunks with red trim, he weighs an even 158 pounds from Dallas, Texas. His professional record, 10-1, 9 of those 10 victories by KO. Ladies and gentlemen, Quincy Taylor.
Don, Quincy, you got your instructions in the dressing room. Is there any questions? You're in charge of your corner, you're in charge of yours, right? Okay, shake hands. Good luck, gentlemen. Come out boxing.
There's a look at Quincy Taylor. His last fight, as we mentioned, a loss to Terry Norris, and that was back in 1988. And so now he's ready to turn things around, and the man he hopes to do that against is this man, Don Johnson. And I guess you have to ask yourself, Al, in all honesty, here's a guy who's 12-11. He's only got 4 knockouts, so it seems reasonably obvious that he's not a guy who's going to get you out of there. And just looking at his 1-loss record, he's not a guy who really poses a real threat to you. Why fight him?
Well, except for the fact that the thing about Don Johnson, who, yes, he's a 30-year-old journeyman, but almost all of his losses have been by decision, and almost everyone has been closer to split decision. So that doesn't mean he's going to fight for the world title, but it means he's got certain kinds of skills that make him at least a credible opponent with Quincy Taylor. Now, here's the point about Taylor. He admits that the reason he lost to Terry Norris is that he thought he was going to hit Norris with a big punch. Norris was going to rumble with him. Terry Norris outboxed him. Now, Don Johnson has certain kinds of skills that would allow him to frustrate Taylor. It's not to say he will, but we'll see. He may be a little tougher for Taylor than Quincy expects.
Taylor has to take a no-nonsense attitude here after the loss to Terry Norris. Sometimes, though, and you've said this yourself, the real character of a fighter is not tested until he does lose a fight.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And Quincy, we've been talking to him today. He said, hey, he said, there's no excuses. He said, you know, I really thought that I was going to be able to hurt Terry Norris or get him into a brawl, and he would brawl with me and I'd knock him out. He said he outboxed me, and he really showed me more than I ever thought he had. So he's put that in perspective in a sense. He said, hey, you lose sometimes. I think the one thing Quincy Taylor got away from against Terry Norris, and he needs it in this fight, is the body work. He needs to go downstairs. He's a very good body puncher. So you can see already, Don Johnson feels his experience is going to get him through in this fight. And he's not doing a bad job of boxing Quincy Taylor.
No, he actually did a very good job there. Came up with the right hand on the move and followed it with the right hand. Johnson frustrating Taylor a little bit early in this fight.
When Quincy goes downstairs to the body, he's so effective. It makes the headshots flow naturally.
Right. Step back. Nice and clean. Don't push
It's
him.
Don Johnson. He lost his last fight in a 6-round decision of Philadelphia that he definitely felt he won. He lost a 10-rounder before that was close. I said, what do you think with all these losses? Does it get discouraging? He said, why should I be discouraged? I know I won them.
Good attitude.
In fact, he said, what does it matter what they put on a piece of paper?
So we come down toward the end of the first round now, and it hasn't been a bad round for Don Johnson, fighting more than the way you'd expect a 12-11.
Second round.
We start the second round. Taylor in the white trunks, Johnson in the blue. Taylor, as you said, has to go to the body to be effective. Did he do that in the first round?
Well, not as much as he would like. As you see, the Taylor landing 17 of 51 punches. 14 were thrown to the body of his 51. So he didn't go to the body, I don't think, as much as he would like.
He did score a moment ago with a left hook that drove Johnson into the ropes. Johnson, I think, feigned being hurt more than he was hurt. Johnson trying to counterpunch and doing it with a certain modicum of success, not really getting to Taylor.
He wants to hold Taylor on the inside, not let him work the body and let him use his strength. Taylor's starting to use that jab very effectively. Less movement from Don Johnson. Johnson has only faced a couple of southpaws in his career. There's one thing they talked about, the fact that he hasn't faced that many, but he said, what's the big deal? They're just backwards.
Yeah, but yet it is a fact.
It is, yeah. There's something different about it. And one only needs to go back to that fight this weekend with Frankie Swindell and Michael Moore, in which Frankie Swindell was just really had, or Greg Haugen and Pernell Whitaker.
That's right.
So they both had problems with the southpaws. Whitaker the southpaw and Michael Moore the southpaws.
There was a big left hand. Johnson's hurt by that. See if Taylor follows up now.
Nice work inside to the body by Quincy Taylor. Johnson's moving the wrong way. Landed good right there, but he should be moving to his left instead of to his right. He's walking right into the power of Quincy Taylor.
He was wide open for that left hook a minute ago. Seems to be okay now.
We talk a lot about your footwork and your foot positioning when you fight a lefty. You can see that the left foot of Johnson is inside the right foot of Quincy Taylor, which means he is not in a position to throw good punches, Johnson, and he's much more susceptible to get hit by Taylor's power punches, the right hook or the straight left hand.
Coming down to the end of the second round now.
Whoa!
He ran about 20 yards, I think, before he hit him with that shot to the body.
That one came from Upper Darby, Pennsylvania, or someplace.
You know, guys, once you box him, you stop one time and he hits you. You box the way you do. Just box, frustrate him, get out. Hit them, get out.
Use them right hands on him, man. You count him with them
Don't
right
throw a lot of uppercut, straight right. Okay. When he gets set, use the jab. You're not using the jab. You gotta use the jab a little bit.
More right hands.
Every time he gets set, you gotta let go. Don't let him get set. Don't let him get set.
More right hands, baby.
Jab it back with your hook.
Rub the grease in.
You know?
Round the mouth. Rub it in, round the mouth.
You know, don't let him get set.
Okay.
Throw 3 punches. Put your
box him, yeah.
Yeah, put your punches together. Box him.
Quincy Taylor may have missed with that hook, but watch this. Here comes the left. Yeah.
Seconds out, please.
Almost looked like he made an adjustment on that punch after it looked like he was going to come up underneath, and then he brought it over the top.
And this was why he glanced over a little bit, but it still was a good punch for him.
third round. Don Johnson in the blue. And in the white trunks, Quincy Taylor. Quincy Taylor with 9 knockouts. He's being very patient here. He was patient, in fact, when he hurt Johnson with the left hand in the last round.
And that goes back to what he talked about as far as the Norris fight is concerned. He wants to really be consistent. Ooh, good straight right by Johnson. Give a good, consistent effort. And not looking for a quick knockout necessarily, although, of course, if you got your man hurt, you want to take him out.
Crowd getting a little restless here in the third round. They want a little more action.
Well, it's quite apparent, and it was in the Norris fight, and it's apparent here, that if you're going to do well against Quincy Taylor, not that Don Johnson is doing great, but he's hanging in there, you need to box him, give him some lateral movement, stop down and punch a little bit. We can box this guy, and that's what Quincy Taylor now is going to be facing probably with a lot of people.
Terry Norris is tough. We expect to see him again, incidentally, down the road here on ESPN.
Oh, wonderful junior middleweight. I saw him. I was in San Diego and saw him and his brother Orland fight heavyweight. They're both NABF champions.
Yeah, we were supposed to see Terry Norris tonight, as a matter of fact. He came down with that flu that you and I think everybody in the Western Hemisphere has had this year.
It's amazing. You're on the rebound. That's great.
I have, yeah. I've bounced back.
Last time we worked together, I was fearful for you.
It's hard to work on a gurney.
It was a little different, yeah.
Right, step back, nice and clean.
Pick it up, quick, pick it up.
Inside of 20 seconds remaining in round number 3. Johnson actually a little bit busier in this round than Quincy Taylor. So Johnson's right there as we come to the end of the third round, and we'll be back to Atlantic City after this. Be a force.
Yeah, I think you will be. And that gentleman on his left, Kennedy McKinney, superb in the Olympics. I think all 4 of those young men have a good chance to be excellent professionals.
Got to be a few butterflies going on in the pits of their stomach, if not now, certainly as this week goes on.
And we take a look at my scoring. We're going to take a look at my scoring in just a moment or so, and we're going to find that I've got this fight very close. How close is it, you ask?
That's close.
Yeah, that's close. Truthfully, you want me to tell you the truth? If I could go back and rescore that first round, I might score it for Quincy Taylor. I had it for Johnson. I made the third round even. But I can't, so it's gonna have
That's the way it is. You can see Johnson, his confidence seems to grow with every round here. It's just the fact that he's still there and he's not hurting Taylor, and from time to time he frustrates him a little bit. But the only big punch of the fight was landed by Quincy Taylor. Let's take a look at our Old Spice punch profile. And
Are we glad I have this fight even?
Taylor's 36% effectiveness.
Can I get a recount?
A poll.
Well, I said I'd change the first round if I had a chance.
This crowd here, very, very quiet.
Yeah, well, it hasn't been scintillating so far tonight.
No, this has not been a night of...
In marked contrast to last week when we had a lot of exciting matches and some wild goings-on. Wally Muhammad and... Well, I'm not blaming you, Barry. I'm just pointing that out journalistically. I'm a journalist, after all. Well, let's not debate that.
Down to 1 minute remaining, round 4.
You know, Quincy Taylor, I mean, one thing is he's probably winning this fight, or it's a close one for sure. But he's not really putting his punches together as well as he'd like, I don't think, and not going to the body, I don't think, as much.
And not much action so far tonight.
It's been a little slow.
I've seen paintings with more action. Quick right-hand counter punch by Johnson.
Quincy not using his jab much either. And Don Johnson, there's a good uppercut on the inside, a little holding and hitting, but he's, you know, Don Johnson's in the position here where if he would pick up the pace a little bit and throw a few more punches, he could be in very good shape in this fight.
Well, you know, that's really the way it looks, and that's what I meant by when he came out a little bit more cocky, just thinking that he's still there. And as this fight goes on, as you mentioned, he's going to start to think, hey, maybe I'm not only going to be there, I can win it. Round number 5, Don Johnson's still there. He in the blue trunks, Quincy Taylor in the white. In Quincy Taylor's corner between rounds, they were implying that Don Johnson was done. All you have to do is go get him. It doesn't really look done to me.
No, that is an overstatement by Taylor August, but what they're trying to do is give Quincy Taylor the idea that he needs to be more aggressive and go out after this guy. You know, Taylor said today that he was so conscious that he didn't go to the body enough against Terry Norris. He said, it's one mistake I won't make tonight. Well, I'll tell you, he has not gone to the body very much against Johnson. Hasn't always been in the position to do it, but even when he has been, we've seen those good combinations downstairs.
Johnson just seems to have Quincy Taylor thinking out there, and thinking in a ring is not necessarily a good thing for fighters.
Well, not when you waste the time thinking and don't act.
Quincy Taylor's corner telling him you're waiting way too long. You might have heard that.
And he is. And he's not. He should have that jab going, work his way in, then rip the body.
The left hand from Taylor and another. Don Johnson has to ask himself, does he just want to get through this fight or does he want to win the fight? And if he wants to win the fight, then he's going to have to do more.
Well, he'll be facing another close decision loss. And Quincy Taylor went to the body very well in that last sequence. Johnson doing a lot of holding. And if he would continue that, you could make the case for a point being deducted at a certain point.
See Johnson just trying to lure Taylor in, counter with the right hand. There he countered with an uppercut. Good right hand by Johnson that time.
Johnson has a real good uppercut, and it has surfaced from time to time in this bout. There's where Quincy Taylor should be moving in. He's got him cornered. Steady, takes the right hand by Don Johnson. This is a very tentative Quincy Taylor tonight. That is not what he wanted to show.
Left hand. He's gotten 3 left hands in this round, but none of them particularly damaging. Time! And we'll take you back into the corner of Quincy Taylor.
Look, Quincy, come on, pick it up, baby. You're going straight into him. You got to come to him, but moving toward the right, Quincy. To your right. You got to back him up. And look, when he's throwing a punch, you know what you're doing? You're jumping back.
Jump back, so I need to.
Put your hands up. He ain't got what kind of punches he has. Nothing but a right hand. So move away from that and back his ass up. Come on, we look good like a champ. Now let's go to work. This is round what, 6? Come on, man. Just too close. This boy ain't nothing, man. Let's go to work. Okay?
Inside, man, you just sitting there. You got to work inside, right?
I think what you're hearing in the corner of Quincy Taylor is basically echoing exactly what you said in the last round, Al.
Yeah, frustration that he's not working on the inside. There's a left hand. Oh, I think Quincy Taylor is keenly aware that this is not a sharp performance and that he is tentative. Getting over that is another question.
Take a look at your card.
I've got Taylor edging ahead by 2 points now, even though his performance isn't fantastic. Don Johnson not doing that much offensively.
And you look at this performance of Don Johnson, and really it starts to become clear why he is 12-11 with a lot of close decision losses.
Oh, yeah. It's almost as if he's doing just enough to maybe not win.
Yeah, that's right, exactly. Taylor, who tries to follow up and missed about 4 punches.
And that's where the body work would be so effective for Quincy Taylor. Looking only to the head. Yeah, see, look what that opened up. That left to the body. It opened up a right hook to the head and made all kinds of things happen in that little sequence for Quincy Taylor.
Might have been his best sequence or most telling sequence.
I don't know that if I was Quincy Taylor, I'd be looking at Don Johnson's head at all. I'd just be working that body, then let the head shots come.
Taylor definitely picking up the pace here in the 6th round.
There you see the body shots, and I'll tell you, Quincy Taylor, when he throws to the body, he throws with conviction. There it is again. Johnson has done some very good things in this bout. Just that he has not been able to consistently get his offense going.
Taylor chased Johnson into the corner, caught him with a short right hand, and just has not been able to follow up. He missed with 4 or 5 punches after he did catch him with a moderately effective right hand.
Don Johnson pretty good at slipping punches. He's been very effective at that.
Johnson bounces off the ropes and scores with the right hand of the body.
Right here, that's where Taylor should be digging. No reason for him to throw those headshots. He should be working the body of Don Johnson. That's what he does. That's what he is. He's a terrific body puncher, especially on the inside. You should go to your strengths.
So we head for the end of round number 6, and Taylor with a pretty good round this time. And Johnson looks as though he might have cut his eye.
It's like I can't get into it, so I don't want to commit myself to his left hand.
And in Don Johnson's corner, they are talking about the fact that he gave that round away. I think really it's more the fact Quincy Taylor took it.
Well, and Don Johnson didn't do that much, so.
Okay.
Here's the left hand. Now, there's a good left hand to Quincy Taylor, and then I think he's going to land it pretty good. There you go. Pretty good right uppercut.
7th round.
Round number 7, we're going 10.
And if you're going to box and move and use this style, the one thing you better do is land the jab. And Johnson has only landed 8 of 143 jabs. And in addition to those 8, some other punches to make it 44 for him. But you can see that Quincy Taylor landing a lot more.
I want to quickly correct what I just said. We were going 10 rounds. We, of course, are not. We're going 8 rounds.
That's true. This is an 8-rounder.
And there is a little cut along the left eye. Can't quite tell exactly where it is. I don't think it's anything that will really cause Don Johnson any problem. The 3-punch combination started with a shot to the body by Quincy Taylor. I'm not sure what happened. Solar plexus shot, I would have to think.
Yeah, it looked like a legal blow to me. I mean, you'd have to look at the replay. But that shows you the power of Quincy Jones. If it was a legal punch that knocked him down, and he is getting a count.
It's over. Joe O'Neill says that's it. And there was a very surprising ending and a very sudden ending to a fight. Looked like he got him right below the heart.
Yeah, it looked like a legal punch. We'll see when we see the replay, but and Don Johnson isn't complaining about a low blow. So it may have been a body shot that just landed in exactly the right spot. And boy, wouldn't that be testimony to the fact that more body work by Taylor would have been appropriate. Let's see what happens here. It's going to be a left to the body. And that's legal. Boy, is that legal.
Yeah, but I didn't really see that punch. If it scored anywhere, it looked like it was in the ribs, and that's possible, of course, but...
We'll see it from another angle and perhaps get an even better view of it. Yeah, oh yeah. See, and it did land, and what it must have done was knock the wind out of his opponent. So
Well,
Don
very
Johnson...
sudden and rather strange ending to a fight. That Don Johnson was right there. Does not appear to be hurt now, but I guess you're absolutely right. It just affected his breathing, and even when he got up, he was still unable to breathe.
Yeah, I think it just hit him in exactly the right spot. And you called it the solar plexus punch, which of course is well known in boxing, but I think it just got him in the right spot.
Let's get the official word here from Michael Buffer. Michael?
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Joe O'Neill stops this bout at 119 of the 7th round. The winner, he's now 11-1 from Dallas, Texas, Quincy Taylor.
So Quincy Taylor out, and it ended very suddenly with a shot to the body. Here's another look as we go away, and we'll be back right after this.